What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey, coming at you with another 5 a.m. review. Ooh, 5:48. We gotta make this quick because I go back to work today. But I'm here to do a quick recap of Queen Sugar, season 1, episode 2, Evergreen. You guys, if you've seen my video for last night's or Tuesday night's episode, y'all know I'm already emotionally connected to this show. So um, I'm here for it. Okay, so we see the scene open up. And what I like to do is I like to do something a little bit different. One, because I'm short of time, and two, because I don't know that it helps to go scene by scene by scene. And I won't know that until I do it a couple of different ways. So what I want to do is go character by character, because I'm starting to notice a couple of things about each character that I don't want to get lost in, the picture, because I think it's important for us going forward to really, really get to know the characters. Also, I want to say this really quickly. I know that I went on and on about Oprah because everybody knows I love Oprah and I suck at the teat of Oprah. um, but I wanted to say that no disrespect to Ava DuVernay or any of her bodies of work. She's an excellent, excellent writer and producer, and I think this show just really, really proves that. I saw a little snippet, commercial snippet about some of the background scenes and how they painstakingly picked each and every producer or writer, contributor to this series. And I think that is heir apparent because you can see it in this body of work. Some of the people that they showed were African American women, women of all ethnic background. It really looks like they took a lot of time in picking a very, very diverse team. So shout out to all of them and every contribution that they've all made. Okay, so we start the opening scene with Nova. Nova's in her garden, and Nova's like she's like my equal in terms of who I am in the lineup of siblings. Like Nova's closer to who I am. So I relate to Nova a lot better, and I see things through Nova eyes a lot differently. She's there in her garden. Up walks, this dude that she's been messing with for some years. Clearly, she loves him. I think it's very clear that he loves her. Now, we have no idea when he got married. Did he get married on her when they broke up? Because she seems like she tends to push him away. And I know within my own life, I've just always been very, very headstrong. I've always done my own thing. I've never really depended on anyone else, especially a man. But clearly he loves her. He really, really, really wants to be there for her. And, she doesn't want to put all her eggs in that basket. She doesn't want to get her hopes up. She doesn't really feel like, although she loves this man and loves the way he makes her feel, she feels like there's a part of her that feels like she's a fool if she returns it, if she gives it back in any, directly, outwardly way, because boom, you got your own life. You don't have time to be worried about me. So she's constantly pushing him away, and you could tell that that's been a main thread in their relationship. I could tell that Nova is the oldest, and now I'm prepared to be wrong about that, but I can tell that she's the oldest. Um, we see a scene where she is called down to her office because she's a freelance writer, and she's there to talk about some of the work she's already turned in, about the water quality and, things that are going on in the city. And they want to talk about this scandal with her brother in law, and she gathers them all the way up and lets them know, I'm not here for that. But you can just see her style, the way she carries herself, her accessories. I mean, she's a smart woman. She knows what she wants. She is struggling on this personal level. We can see that she's a good person that compartmentalizes, because she really, really treats Charlie, when Charlie comes back in from her dad's house, from the run and getting cleaned up and everything. She comes in and there's some flowers there, and she was like, "Who sent the flowers?" And she was like, "Your mama." Now, this could mean a whole bunch of stuff. I saw Ashley Miller's um, review, and it did kind of open my eyes a little bit about, it could mean a lot of things. It could mean that's your mama and not mine. It could mean that's your mama, all our mama, but it's really more like your mama because you the only one still talk to her. It could mean that's your mother-in-law. So we still don't know, but it's a possibility that we're going to see more characters come in a little bit later. And as I go down the cast list, I can kind of see it, but we don't know. So very, very good point. Shout out to Ashley Miller. Let's see. So moving on with Nova. Nova is very, very cold. I mean, like I said, she's good at compartmentalizing. She's just trying to sum this all up. She doesn't have time to get emotional with this. We don't have time for the woo-woo. She plays the older sister role. That's this is what we're gonna do. We've already done this. I want this to cook. They go down to the local vendor to get seafood and food for the repast and all of that stuff. She does all the picking, and it's because she's the oldest. It's because she knows what to do, but also I do believe as a sister, this is her way of saying, this is how I take care of my dad. This is how I make sure he's taken care of. Even in death, I'm gonna do what I think he would want us to do, because I've been present and I know what that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little, and Ralph Angel just follows suit. I mean, he obviously, since like the youngest, he does what he's told to do. He tries to have a little bulk, but everybody know, you know what I'm saying? Okay, we still gonna do what I say do. I'm the oldest. Okay, and so she gives me that sort of look. She gets really, really upset. Well, they go to the funeral home, and they're gonna pick, a casket or whatever, and make the arrangement. She's in charge there. This is her contribution. This is her payment. She doesn't have a lot of money. She is contributing financially, but this is her the last thing she's gonna really be able to physically do for her dad. And you could just tell that the tensions are high, the grief is heavy, but there is this overwhelming sense of responsibility that they all feel towards their dad now that he's gone. So, one of the things she's contributed, she, gets the guy down $1,500 on the funeral costs. And then she says, spread the payments out over these cards. Of course, Charlie wants to contribute, but you're not finna get in on my tribute to my daddy. Nova tries to gather her, but Charlie has had it. She's done everything up until this point. Charlie has had it. She wants to contribute to. So, they get to haggling over the credit cards and who's going to pay for Ralph Angel, like he's not there. And there's this conversation like, y'all just going to talk like I'm not here. And I'm like, oh my. So we see another scene where they're going to pick the casket, and Nova connects immediately. Like I said, she reads energy. She connects immediately with this white casket, and she talks about how he came in light, he leaves, white represents light, he's going to leave in light. And that sets the tone for what they're all going to wear. They're all going to wear white, you know. And he's going to get this white casket, and she had this small pouch. We don't know what was in the pouch. It could have been sage, we don't know. Whatever it was her personal contribution to her dad. It was her gift to him as he, you know, his body transitions back to earth. So you know, the funeral director is, you know, we don't do that here, this is a good Christian, you know, which, what, you don't even know what's it, I don't even, okay. So now we see that this is Ralph Angel's opportunity to contribute in his own way to his father. He doesn't have the means, but he will stand up for his sisters. He will protect his sisters. He will be the man in this situation and let this other man know, no, no, no. They said they want to do this. This what they gonna do. You know, because the guy doesn't, you know, she wants to sew it immediately into this casket, which is a display casket. And, you know, he tries to stop him again. Y'all can't do that here. We can't do that. This is display. And Ralph Angel, you know, asserts himself just really, really slightly, but lets this guy know this is happening. This is going down. You meant to back. Okay, bruh. Back up, bruh. All right. And I'm here for that. I really am. I'm here for that. Later on, like I said, they go to the seafood vendor and they get all this seafood, and they're gathering all this stuff up for the repast. They get back to the house, and Hollywood is there in true Hollywood fashion, you know, supporting the family. And he's, you know, Nova's there. She's picking the greens. Up comes the caterers that Charlie's hired, and Nova loses it. She loses it. She doesn't lose it because hiring a caterer was an inappropriate thing to do. She doesn't lose it because Charlie doesn't remember. She loses it because, I think, because her dad is dead, and she doesn't have her man there, and she's got this responsibility. She got all these things going through her head, and she loses it. She loses it. This is what happens. She loses it a little bit, not in a physical way, but just all of this ball of anger and grief and regret and responsibility and ownership and accountability, and she just hits Charlie with it. Had nothing to do, I don't think, with the catering. I just don't think so. I mean, they were just there to serve drinks and put up tablecloths. It had nothing to do with that. And I think a telling sign of the fact that it had nothing to do with that is when she turns and she sees her aunt there, and it kind of startles her a little bit because she, you know, she had like screw-faced, you know. Oh, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be human. So, you know, at the end, at the funeral, she, you know, she reaches over and she holds each of her siblings' hand, and she sort of links them together in this moment, in this final moment of telling her dad goodbye. And I'm here for Nova. I can appreciate her. Let's move on to Charlie. Okay, Charlie, in this scene, we get to see a little bit more about her. I can tell that their father, Ernest, had a connection with everything that he touched. He left his fingerprint. He left an aura and an energy that people really, really loved and appreciated. And you can just see this through the auxiliary, not just through the children, but through the auxiliary characters in this show. So she's taking this run, this beautiful run, and it just reminds me of growing up in Sanford, Florida, with the white dirt, sand, you know, not quite dirt, not quite sand, running under the trees and front porches. Like, man, I connect with this show so much. And she gets into the house, you know, and she's looking around. Everything's the same. Not much has changed. And she hears this commotion outside. She goes out there. There's this Caucasian guy out there, and he's got two other Caucasian guys with him, and they are clearly sizing up the property and the land. And she goes ahead automatically, because although she's the middle child, although she's got a lot going on, first things first, she's got a business mind. Okay, remember, she's her husband's manager, and you can just tell by the look in her eyes that she is reading this man for filth in her head. And she finally tells him, he's like, oh, my condolences, my deepest sympathies and all of that. And she was like, what are they doing over there? And he was like, oh, yeah, shuts them off. And she reads him for filth and says, he says he just wanted to come out. She said, it looks like to me you thought wasn't nobody going to be home. Okay? This is a moment. And as a black woman, when you speak to a Caucasian man like this, you can just look in their face. You can look in their eyes and see what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh, you got it. Okay, not only do you have books, since they done taught you how to read and write, but you think you can talk to your master? I don't know. It's just the moment they realize they're dealing with somebody who's got a brain and intelligence, just the look in their face, and just the shift in their eyes, you can just see it. Like, this nigga can read it, right? We're not going to use those words anyway. Later on, we see just her level of feeling looked over and dismissed, as a lot of middle children do. I'm a middle child, so I get it. But I'm also the dominant sibling, so that's why I kind of relate to Nova, being the oldest. But she feels looked over. I mean, she feels like they've done everything. They've picked the flowers, they've done this, they've done that, and no one's connected with her. And she's eagerly looking for a way to contribute, a way to say, Daddy, I love you, a way to say, this is my contribution to my dad's homegoing. And it appears to her that they're trying to snatch all of these opportunities to do so away. And so when she gets to the funeral home, and she was like, put the whole thing on this card, I don't think it was about showing any of them up. Again, it was about, you guys have done everything else. The least y'all could let me do to show Daddy how much I loved him is to pay for the whole thing. I've got the money, let me pay for it. Of course, we know that Nova squashed that, and we know Ralph Angel felt a certain type of way about it. Then we see a scene where her, she finds all these letters when she's at the house after her run from this guy, Remy. And so she goes to meet this guy, Remy, and of course he's beautiful, he's handsome, he's cute. We already know something's gonna pop off there. Why wouldn't it? I mean, you got all the perfect components. You got beautiful people with beautiful bodies, grief, regret, and the need for revenge. I want to feel loved. I want to feel loved. Anyway, so they have this, conversation, about her dad and, the crops, his relationship with the dad. And, we get to see here how pivotal she's going to be going forward, as it relates to business, and taking care of their father's farm and their father's last wishes, with the will. Because her questions for him lead him to just shush her, calm her down a little bit. No, we can't talk about this in here. Let's first focus on the funeral. You know what I'm saying? Can't do that in here. Okay? Because he knows she ready to go in and get some things settled and figure some things out. My dad was in a lot of debt, and he knows that this diner right here, right now, we can't talk about this. There's too many ears around. Okay? So, then let's fall back to the funeral. When the funeral guy told them that they couldn't sew this little pouch into it, and Ralph Angel stops him, we see this moment where she respects her sister. She respects Nova. She respects Nova's wishes. And she connects with that enough to where she helps Nova after Nova cuts open the liner to put the pouch in it. She helps hold the the clothes while Nova sews it shut. And I just think that that was a really, really, really poignant moment because it shows them, although they have this moment in grief and despair where they seem to be bickering, it shows that they're all still siblings, that they all still link together, and they all still feel that common thread of family and linkage. We fast forward, we see that the dad, Davis, her husband, is calling. Micah's the dad is calling repeatedly, over and over again. He's calling, 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 calling. Micah answers the phone. Somehow they make this arrangement where, after he finds out that Ernest has died, secretly, unbeknownst to everyone else, even including us, that they've made this arrangement to meet at the local high school gym. She goes to pick her son up, and Davis is there. He's trying to talk to the son. She is angry. She is angry. She is upset. And the way she continues to put her body in front of her son as though he's a small child lets you know that it's not about keeping my son away from you to punish you. It's about you being somebody I don't know. So therefore, as a mama bear, I can't trust you with my baby right now. I don't know what's up with you. Okay? And I don't have time to figure that out right now because I got to go bury my daddy. And so she lets him know it's not about you. You know what I'm saying? You don't do this in this manner. You don't come down here like that. And we also learn that Davis's relationship with Ernest, how much he cared for Ernest. So again, Ernest's fingerprints are on every character in this show, it seems like to me. Later on, we see that she's at the church. She's all dressed in her white, and she's putting the programs out. And Davis comes up. He has this conversation with her. She tries to run off. He says a couple of things. She gets emotional. She ends up crying in his chest, and there's this moment of vulnerability. But just like Nova, you're just going to get little leaks of it at this point. Because there's so much on top of the fact that I love you still as my husband, is that, thinking about her dad, thinking about how loving her dad was, thinking about the fact that he's gone, thinking about that she's never going to have that again. That physical, his energy here to connect with her. And she just breaks down. But she realizes instantly, this is not a person I want to give my pearls to. You know what I mean? Runs back into the church. Later on, we see them all there at the funeral, all lined up in the front row, all in white. And just how beautiful they are as a family becomes more apparent. And I just want to say that whoever picked the cast, they really seem like siblings to me. Like, I can see them being siblings, and that's just from my point of view. Okay.